Hello, great to have your company. I'm James Preston and welcome to another edition of Executive Corner Expert Talks on 𝐾𝐤𝐴 TV. In this Expert Talk, we'll take an in-depth look at Tempest Minerals, a minerals exploration company with a diversified portfolio of projects in Western Australia, prospective for precious, base and energy metals. The company has an experienced board and management team with a history of exploration, operational and corporate success. Tempest leverages the team's energy and also technical and commercial acumen to execute the company's mission, which is of course to maximise shareholder value through focused, data-driven, risk-weighted exploration and also development of their key assets. To talk us through the finer points of all things Tempest Minerals, it's now my great pleasure to welcome to the program Donald Smith, the CEO and Managing Director of Tempest Minerals. Donald, welcome to the show.
Greetings, nice to be here.
Donald, great to have you with us today. Now, first and foremost, let's just quickly run through exactly what it is that Tempest Minerals does. We know you're a mining company, but what do you focus on with your exploration?
That's a good question. So I'm a bit conventional compared to many of my peers. I don't believe in commodity-focused exploration. I think that when you're looking in a new area, then you should have your eyes open for anything. And so what we're doing is that we have a large area north of Perth here, which we're exploring through good geoscience, and we're keeping our eyes open for new opportunities.
Well, that's always the way to do it, isn't it? You have to make sure that you're across everything that could be unfolding and then reacting quickly to it. And as part of that, exactly. I know that Tempest does plan to utilise data-driven, risk-weighted exploration and development of its mineral assets to help generate share value for the shareholders. Could you elaborate just a little bit on the data-driven, risk-weighted exploration and development strategy that you do employ?
Sure. It's a very intentional thing that we're doing. So we have a strong tech focus in our group of companies, and part of that is employing the latest technology and that kind of thing. So here in our office, we have a paperless office completely, and all our field work is done on devices like phones or tablets, and in apps, some of them which we've developed ourselves here in-house. And that data then goes onto our cloud, which we can review in real time. There's no pen and paper and typing numbers into Excel or anything like that. It's all very automated. We use that data and we put it into our own algorithms, which we decide on what's the best strategy to go forward, and using that we make our decisions. So it's all data-driven, risk-weighted.
Yeah, wonderful. It all sounds like a very streamlined process is probably the main point I was going to go with that. And it's a refreshing take on what is obviously now an industry that's been around for a very long time. And you often see with some of those more established places, whether it be BHP or Rio Tinto, they are actually catching up to the likes of yourself who are a bit more innovative in the space, given you have that potential to really get ahead of the curve, I feel. Let's talk a little bit about the Euro project. Now, you've got shares similar geology with the world-class mining operations in its proximity, and yet it does remain for now mostly unexplored. How substantial is the opportunity that's being presented at Euro?
Oh, look, it's massive, and it's on numerous fronts as well. So in the north of the project, in the area that's had some exploration, we'll put it that way, there was a bunch of drilling done in the 90s, which intersected some excellent grade, and to be honest, anywhere else in the world, in WA, that would be a mine already. So we're looking forward to doing some drilling there. So there's a great opportunity for us to, in the short term, to actually generate a resource. So we know something's there. It's just a matter of drilling and trying to work out what it looks like and how much there is. In the south of the project, we've discovered a new magnetic anomaly, which is very, very similar to the nearby 𝐊𝐴𝐳 mine, which is about 1 million ounces of gold plus copper. And so we've got this very, very similar signature in the magnetics. And recently we've been in the field doing sampling in that area.
Well, you mentioned you've got the samples there. Now, we know that there's as many as 319 soil and rock samples that you have collected throughout that Euro project to date. When can we expect the assay results, and what are your expectations from doing so?
Well, certainly we're expecting the results of this month. There's delays across the board with laboratories in Australia because of shutdowns from COVID and also lack of labour, but we are expecting them this month. What we will be doing with those assays is they covered a large part of this magnetic anomaly I mentioned. So we'll be going through in detail, looking at the results in our database and deciding whether any of them are of interest. And if there are any of interest, then that will be targets that we can move forward and do some more detailed work on in the future, and possibly drilling and that kind of thing.
Yeah, wonderful. It really does help you streamline, once again, the process and identify exactly where you need to target. Now let's move from the Euro to the range, and that project is located along the strike of the Mount Magnet gold mine. When can we expect drilling to commence for that project?
Look, the drilling there is unlikely to occur this year. It will be next year. There's only a certain number of things we can do at once. But we did have a team out there in the last week or so, and it seems all our projects, every time we go out in the field, we discover new exciting stuff, and we'll have some more news flow on that coming forward very soon.
Well, that is, of course, just one potential project, but what other ones do you have occurring at the moment, and also that you're looking for down the track, potentially in the pipeline?
Sure. Well, we're always looking for opportunities, but our main story, apart from Euro at the moment, is the Malaya project, which is north of Euro in the 𝐊𝐴 field. And this is very, very exciting. This is because it's a long strike from the Golden Grove mine, which is one of Australia's highest grade base metal and precious metal mines. So it's a copper, zinc, gold, silver mine. And it was discovered, like many of the operations in our area, they were discovered decades ago, 40 years ago. And for 40 years, everyone's been looking for a particular kind of rock sequence that Golden Grove is hosted in. And basically, they've been looking in the wrong place. And we've discovered that those rocks actually are right. That is what the Malaya project is. It's tens and tens of kilometres, up to 50 kilometres of these rocks that everyone's been looking for. But because one of the government geology maps was inaccurate, no one's ever looked there before. So that's one of our primary focuses, is looking there.
No, really curious. It actually even reminds me of something from The Mummy, where, they're waiting for the mirage and they've got this special map and it can only guide them in the one way, and unless you read it correctly, you're not going to get any of the results that you're looking for. So with that Malaya project, is there a specific kind of mineral that you really think could be of quite high value, that you might find a particular density within that discovery?
Certainly, we'd really like to. We really think that we will find either copper and/or gold there, because it has we've already got samples at the surface that indicate that there are such things there. In terms of the density, that's a very good choice of words, actually, because if you start in 𝐊𝐴 in the north down to Mount Gibson in the south, that's the extent of the 𝐊𝐴 greenstone belt, which is the geological region we're working in. It's about 100 kilometres in a straight line as the crow flies. Now, every 10 kilometres within that, there's a mine. And with every 20 kilometres, there's a world-class mine. And we've got 50 kilometres of these rocks that no one's ever looked in. So the chances of us finding something are pretty good, I'd say. So that's an excellent choice of words, density. The density of mineralisation in this field is ridiculous. And there's so much opportunity there that hasn't been exploited yet.
Well, I think opportunity is a very key word there as well. I mean, if you've got such a large area there, then that is certainly primed for fantastic opportunities to unfold. Now, this probably leads quite well into this next question for you, because I'd imagine if you're doing quite a good job throughout that 50-kilometre radius there, or even 100 kilometres, as you say, as the crow flies, there's going to be a lot of value on hand to potentially uncover. So how is Tempest placed to create shareholder value against its peers?
That is one of my favourite questions at the moment. I'll start that one off by saying that in the last few weeks we've raised some capital, and that is in light of Perth's or WA's largest finance group came to us and said, "You are the best value stock on the ASX right now. We want part of it." So if that's a good indication to your audience, that's all I need to say, really.
Now, without going too much into the facts and figures of it, what's been the growth in terms of your share price and things of that nature in probably the past, say, 6 months? Have you seen a steady increase with more and more people coming on board, with more capital raising occurring as well?
No, we've had very little growth relative to many of our peers, which is why we're such great value compared to many of them. Our market cap is undervalued compared to the quality of the assets and the work that we're doing. And I think that's because we're a relatively new story, and there is quite a number of stories on the market at the moment. So I think a lot of people just haven't heard it yet. So that's why I'm out here talking to people like yourself to get the story out there.
Now, we always love an exclusive scoop, that is for sure, Donald. Now, where would you like the company to be in about 12 months' time from now?
12 months' time, obviously, we'd like to make a world-class discovery and be well on our way into, dozens of drill rigs and feasibility studies and everything. So that's the goal and the hope.
All right, well, there are some big dreams there. Now, just before I let you go, any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our esteemed audience here at 𝐾𝐿KINE?
Not really, apart from the undervalued nature of our company and also there's different ways of measuring value, of course, and market cap is one of them, but the other is the terms of the people. So we have an amazing team, both on the board and our technical team that work on these projects. So there's some really world-class people working with us, and that's an important criterion for many investors as well.
And Donald, how big is that core team?
We have a pool of people, and that's anywhere up to 10 people involved, but there's only a few of us that are doing things full time.
All right, well, it is all set up for a very bright future for you. I can see fantastic things for Tempest Minerals, and hopefully we can find some fantastic stuff in that Malay project, the Euro project, and everything that you can also uncover in the future. Donald, thank you so much for your time today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's Donald Smith, the CEO and Managing Director for Tempest Minerals. And if you missed any part of that conversation, or you'd like to browse our extensive catalogue of expert talks, simply head across to the YouTube channel 𝐾𝐿KINE Media. That's all for this edition of Expert Talks, though. I'm James Preston, reminding you to stay apprised and invest wise with 𝐾𝐿KINE.